winter edition. Let me talk a little bit about gi versus no gi. I really like gi in the winter. It's a lot warmer. I like no gi in the summer. I like no gi when I'm traveling. It's a lot less packing. That said, I like both of them. You gotta play a little bit of both. If you're primarily a no gi player, you should be training with the gi once a week. If you're primarily a gi person, you should do no gi once a week. The reason for that is it's a different rhythm. Forget about even the grips and and sort of the friction of the gi. The more important thing is, I believe, is rhythm. So I think you can benefit from both, even if you're primarily focused on one or the other. Let's start with a question. The first question that I got, and guys, you know the live questions get priority. By the way, we tweaked a little bit the settings on the microphone, so let us know. Hopefully it's better than before, or at least no worse than before. If there's a problem, just let us know, guys. Again, if you let us know while we're live, we can play around with it. If I find out tomorrow after the comments are posted, then it's going to be hard for me to fix it. Now, the question was, the guy on top passing the guard, and his opponent gets 2-on-1. So it's a big question what type of 2-on-1s he gets. But usually this is fairly common, like this. The other one is go ahead from the bottom. Yeah, this is the other one. This one's going to be a little bit harder to break, or you could always go with it. But you could still go, always go where the weakness of the grip is. But a lot of times, especially if the guy grips like this, salute yourself. So again, the weakest part of the grip is where the thumb is. So if Enrique grips the other way, I go where it's weak. But a lot of times, if somebody gets a grip, I actually drill this a lot. I play with this in flow rolling a lot. It's kind of almost make that grip irrelevant. So even though you have to, so this is a lot more dangerous if he has shin to shin. If I'm in the middle, it's a lot better. But a lot of times, if you go shin on shin to shin, you can swim. In order for him to make the shin on shin effective, he usually has to drop that hand, in this case, the left hand, to the shin to make it to, and then I can serve. But the way I a lot of times deal with 2-on-1 grips is basically, when the guy's sitting up, it's actually a good way to try to attack the upper body. There's a couple of things you could do. So one of them is to just step around. Okay? So I almost let him have the grip, but I try to redirect. This is one of the most important skills in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or submission grappling you get. Rather than fight force on force, try to redirect it. It's going to be a lot easier for you to deal with it. So Enrique grips, and usually what people they start to pull. So what I do is pull, and so I'm looking to give him a little bit. So as he's pulling, if he starts to pull, I'll just sit. Okay, and from here, yeah. Oh, you're gonna kick. So again, if I cannot redirect it, I just let him pull. So I almost don't let him pull the body. So as he pulls, if I start to move my body, that puts you in a problem. Okay. So if I'm going to give him anything, is the hand extension. From here, I can sort of start attacking. Okay. So again, if you cannot strip or you cannot take advantage of his body positioning, let him have the hand, squat to have a lower center of gravity, and then start to attack the grips. Things change when he changes his body position. But like I said, a lot of times, you're going to have to fight for this. It's not going to happen that easily. So we're sort of, he gets the grip, I'm already on his back. Another favorite of mine, and I use this a lot, if guys, I use this when they do deep half guard or if they do 2-on-1, I wrap the head. Now, if he stays sitting, I drive with my hips. If he goes down, so no, keep the grip. Let's see what it does for you. So this grip is completely useless for him right now. So I actually have a solid threat of a one-handed guillotine. But I usually use that threat to give him a bad dilemma. He has to get his hands to defend the neck. Once he does, I start passing the guard. If he keeps his hands to prevent me from passing the guard, I slowly ratchet up the pressure on the one-handed guillotine. If you don't know what it is, I'm sure we've covered it in the last 5 seasons. Well, four in the beginning, 4 seasons. And so go to some Fox BJJ YouTube channel that you're on right now and put in one-handed guillotine. It'll pop up for sure. And if it doesn't, it's on my BJJ Fanatics TV. So again, make him fight, once he gets this, I step in. Notice how I'm already redirecting his hands. So he's gonna try to bring them to where they make more sense for him. And then this is gonna wind up poorly for him. So again, I'm trying to not necessarily strip. I will if it's easy. If I feel, if you've been training for a while, you kind of feel, is the grip hard to strip? If it is, then just, then you need to sort of do something else. But if it's not, just strip it and go. John, do we have questions, check-ins? What do we got?
Yeah, we got some questions, not particularly on the 2-on-1, just random jiu-jitsu questions. Lots of good mornings. Good morning, Elad. John, Grappler. Junior, I'm hoping GM Baseball is Junior. Good morning. And John, the Grappler, doesn't like the gi. He thinks it slows it down, stalling.
Yeah, but you need to understand that. Yeah, I get it, John. But the idea is that if the guy slows it down, that's a different rhythm. Forget about the friction and the argument is it realistic for the streets or not. The idea is in the wintertime, probably gi is more realistic than in the summer. Than if you get into an altercation in the summertime, it's the rhythm. One of the most at the high level guys, it's who can impose the rhythm and change as they see fit. So a lot of times, if I'm going with a high level guy, we just pick up the speed, suddenly pick up the pace. That's a more NoGi kind of version. And at the right time, you slow it down. When you sort of start to get into positions of advantage of where you can start to control things. So I get it. Like I said, I personally like the pace of NoGi better, but it's very important to train the gi as well, at least once a week. And it keeps you a lot warmer in the wintertime.
Junior, with his first question here is, when you grab the head when you're on mount, do you try to turn the opponent's face away, or do you try to control the back of the neck?
No, when I'm mounted, if I have are you talking about the grip that I just have right now?
I believe so, when you're coming over the head.
I don't focus on, at that point the head is trapped between the floor and my arm, so I basically try to focus on the positioning of my hand to make sure that it's a serious enough threat of a constriction / choke. Everybody knows what we're talking about. Let's not get hung up on it.
Awesome. Pride never dies, loves the gi. We love the gi too. Mark, joining from San Diego, good morning. And then Angel Diaz here with the knee bar. Is it better to fall down to your side or sit down on your opponent?
Well, if you sit down on your opponent, and Angel, you should be asking this in class. These are all my students, guys. If you have regular access to me, it has to be an open matter. I'm doing this primarily for
content. It's good.
I know.
Thank you, Angel.
Thank you.
You'll get a strike tonight.
No. So, yeah, if you sit on top of the guy, then to some extent he controls which way you fall. So I usually prefer to choose the side myself. And if you're the guy under attack, I prefer to kind of be the one that chooses that side because that gives me the best chance of defending. That said, usually if so if I'm backstepping, right, and I'm dropping into a knee ball, I prefer to drop in to this side. Number one is I'm trapping the bottom leg. The extension is quite there. It's easy for me if I have to change the grip, so it's going to be a lot harder for Enrique to deal with. Now, if I backstep to this side, it's a lot easier for Enrique to deal with and possibly attack my back. So again, if I have the choice, and you know that knee bars are illegal if you're going to compete. They're illegal in your division, so just keep that in mind. All right, in most tournaments or most IBTF for sure. So again, if I'm backstepping into a knee bar, I like to control where we're turning. So one side it's going to be easier for him to defend on Enrique's left side. The attacking the side that I just demonstrated, going to his right side, it's going to be a lot harder for him to deal with.
Awesome. Mike here said there was an audio thing, so I just made a switch up. Mike, let me know if that's better. And Gilbert Lopez, hey coach, what is your favorite sweep or transition from the Della Riva?
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So again, we covered Della Riva. Guys, again, I may start with my knee pointing at the ceiling, but immediately, as soon as I decide to. So a lot of times I will threaten sort of the back take, so where I start to push and possibly threaten the back take. A high level guy, so that's sort of the initial threat. As soon as the guy starts to square up, what I'll do is go into split guard. So that, and then I threaten that sweep. So if I just purely insist on Della Riva sweeps, you know, a lot of times I look transition to shin guard. That's a good one. Why are you laughing?
Strong.
Yeah. So I usually threaten the back. A lot of times Enrique backsteps, so if he does, what I'll try to do is almost a modified berimbolo, but from here I just try to get on top rather than sort of actually completing a berimbolo, just kind of using his movement when he drops to his hip to get up on top. So that's some of the favorite attacks I use from Della Riva for me to sort of initiate some sort of a stronger engagement on his part. I really like Della Riva guard, and I think we covered it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
I remember
so
correctly.
the gi.
With the gi?
Yeah, I think so.
My attacks are the same. So it's one of my favorite guards to actually start when there's not a heavy commitment, heavy engagement from the guy on top. So it's a really good guard to kind of just get some little bit more deeper engagement. The reality is most people know how to deal with it, so it's not that easy to to get something going. But what happens is I'm using it to set up a more favorable guard. So let's look at a couple of things. So again, I will threaten the back take. If Enrique sort of drops, that's another favorite of mine. Sometimes, like I said, if I get around to it, Della X. I don't know what I call it. Della X. It's a combination of Della Riva and X guard. This is another favorite of mine. So it depends which way he goes. If he goes down, sometimes it can go the other way. That's another favorite of mine. So again, I threaten Della Riva and switch into split guard, which is now, there's a high probability I'll either get a submission or a sweep. And also, so another one is once I get to Della Riva, switch to shin and attack from there. So it's actually one of, so we talk a lot about sort of what kind of guard you should play. It depends on your personality, your skill level, your body build, your size, and so forth. But Della Riva is one of my favorite guards. The favorite is split guard, but basically Della Riva is probably one of the top 4 or 5 guards that I play. And again, I generally tend to play it initially when there's not a heavy engagement from the guy on top. With De La Riva, it leads him into either, he has to deal with it, and it leads him into deeper engagement, which allows me to attack. So a lot of times, I progress my guards from De La Riva to hybrid De La Riva, shin on shin guard, to split guard, to perpendicular guard. That's sort of how I attack in a more sort of progressive way as the guy has to engage deeper and deeper because he has no other choice.
Awesome. Joel Gilbert, hello from Vermont. I just got informed that GM Baseball is not junior. Sorry. I don't know why I assumed it was junior.
No, that's Greg.
Greg, okay.
Greg, yeah.
Sorry, Greg. I apologize.
Yeah.
I think he's being funny.
Technique, I didn't.
It's all good. And he said, good morning, Mike. So I guess he's probably playing the game back with me. Michael Pristas from Slavica. Great details on the 2-on-1. Thank you. He's going to try it in his next sparring session. Mike, here's another recommendation to unplug the mic and replug it back in. If anyone else has any feedback, what they're getting on the volume, it's he said it's not too good. So give me 1 second.
And we're back.
And we're back.
We should have moved our mouth.
Yeah, we should have been mouth at all.
Adolfo, we're not running Facebook today. We're running YouTube. We run BJJ Fanatics once a month.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah, it's usually so. Ryan Ford from BJJ Fanatics reaches out to me, roughly once a month if we can run a simultaneous BJJ Fanatics as well.
awesome. And there's a John Marvey, hello, watching from Dubai, and he's
Nice. I'd like to visit one day.
Yeah.
Especially in the winter here. So guys, while we're waiting for other questions, this is a good question I got from, guys, I get a lot of messages, so pardon me if I forget exactly what, but the guy, he got a black belt after training 14 years. He's 36 now, so started at 22, and he was asking me, he said, now he can train only 3 times a week, and he had to take a couple months off because of injuries. And how can he train for the next 20 years? So, that's a very good topic, guys. I really kind of, it's sort of an individual sort of endeavor, but sometimes things work for some people and don't work for others, but I truly believe that this is a good way to approach your training. You're training wrong. You're just training wrong. I hate to write. I like to talk with people I like talking to you guys, but I hate to write. So, but this comment made me write the book. A book is too kind of a word. It's more of a pamphlet.
Right.
It's an instructional. It has a little bit of philosophy. It's got a lot of pictures, a lot of technique, but it's got some sort of principles that I believe in that people I think should follow. One is if you're training 3 times a week, right? And we talk about this a lot. What are you doing? You're banging heads because you feel when you get on the mats after 2 days rest, you feel nice. Let me put it this way, guys. When I'm on the mats, I never feel nice. Because I trained the day before, and the day before, and the day before. So I only have technique to depend on. When you're feeling nice, you're going to be like, yeah, man, let's go. Go hard. Next thing you feel like crap. So you have 2 choices. Go back in and try to move through it and kind of like, okay, maybe I can't move as well. I'm going to try to focus on drilling this. Or you can sit out 2 days, and then you're going to feel nice and do it again. Now, you do it for 3 days a week. So if you do this for a year, that's 150 classes, 150 sessions. If you train 6 days a week, literally that's 300 sessions a year. When you start doing this 3 versus 6, if the guy that trains 3 days a week catches, they go against each other in the first or second year, the guy that feels good is probably going to get the better of the other guy, assuming it's roughly same size, same level of athleticism. But in 5 years, even if that guy feels like crap, he's going to get the better of the guy that trains 3 days a week. Because now there's substantial skill gap. So, it depends what is your intention. You trying to get a good workout? Guys, when you're lifting, you're tearing muscles, I believe. And then your body repairs them, and that's how you get bigger and stronger and so forth. When I'm training jiu-jitsu, you're building muscle memory. Skill. It's tearing other people's muscle. So the point is, the more you do it, the more consistently, guys, you're better off. And again, the same thing. If you're training 2 hours a day, 3 days a week, that's 6 hours a week. You'd be better off doing 6 one-hour sessions. There's law of diminishing returns. After first hour, I'm pretty sure you remember a lot less than you did first half an hour. So the point is you really need to come up with a weekly schedule, and I'd encourage you to train more often. What you need is a weekly schedule habit of hard days and easy days. Okay? The hard days are the days when you're gonna bang heads. It's gonna be your 3 days a week. Then the other 2 or 3 days, you're gonna feel like crap, but go in and basically decide that you're not gonna go like this. You're gonna go with people that are good training partners, and you're gonna drill. Now, you have to reciprocate, because if that guy thinks you're flow rolling and working technique, and suddenly you like go for the kill with an intent, that's a problem. Now everything escalates, and now it's another hard day. It sometimes takes some time to get used to, like hard and easy days. But I believe that, when you're training long term, maybe 3-5 years or more, it becomes increasingly more important for you to start to work towards skill building rather than let me get the better of this guy. So, yes, I know it's time, John. I'm gonna wrap up. So guys, again, if you really want to try to train, and again, if you've taken 3 months for injuries, it's not a catastrophic injury, meaning it's not one single injury. It's your body's banged up. That should tell you that, okay, if you need to take time off for injuries, that means you're banging heads, you're training probably too hard. You need to mix that with some sort of drilling, flow rolling, solo drills in the water, whatever works for you. And you're gonna be banged up all the time? Not as much, but you're gonna feel banged up every single day. So you really, when you go training, you should focus on skill acquisition, getting better, not sort of like, I'm gonna win today. That you certainly reserve for tournaments or fights. That's it, guys. Share, like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you next week for episode 5.
Buy the BJJ Fanatics DVDs. Don't use discount codes.
I'll see you next week, guys.